Hello. We're doing a series of kind of videos on This Is My Story, and so this is just a little bit about me. Many of you will know me as Daniel, especially if you've watched our devotions before. I've done a few of those. If you are part of Lighthouse Community Church, I'm one of the leaders there, so I'm sure you would have seen me around, hopefully, doing various things. And yeah, just to give you a little bit of background onto me, where I come from. So I was born in Shorten, it's sort of down South London way, and lived the beginning part of my life in Mitcham. So if you're a true kind of Londoner, you would say I was not technically that kind of central London belt, but is part of Greater London. And moved up to Norfolk when I was 8. We moved Christmas '99. Moved up with my mum, dad, and my older brother. I only have the one older brother. And moved up into a town of West Beckham, which is kind of just outside of Sheringham, about sort of 5-10 minute drive out of Sheringham. And I remember moving, and it was a really cold, wet, horrible day, and I didn't see the house before until we were moving there. And by the time we arrived, it was dark, and my parents showed me into the garage, and they said, "This is our new home," and I just cried. Because it was quite emotional, even friends and all the rest of it. Obviously, we didn't live in a garage; we lived in a house. But yeah, so I grew up in Sheringham. Moved into going to the Sheringham Primary School in year 3. Then went to the high school, and then to the sixth form. And coming out of sixth form, I ended up doing I think 3 gap years because I just didn't have a clue what I was supposed to be doing with my life. The final gap year was doing DNA. And which many of you will know about. A great sort of Christian discipleship training year, incredible year. God really did some amazing stuff in my life, and ended up working sort of voluntary for the church during that year. And then me and Amy were engaged at that point, so we started going out at the age of 16, and then got engaged at 20. Actually getting married just as I finished that year of DNA, so we were both 21 when we got married, and I literally finished that. I remember finishing my year of doing that DNA year, and I think by the time I'd finished, we were then getting married a month or so after. So it was a really quick sort of turnaround, and I remember the majority of that time working for the church, doing DNA, didn't have a job lined up at the end of it, and then it was only right at the last minute, the church thought, we better keep him on for a little bit afterwards. And so I started working for the church, 16 hours a week. And then that kind of just grew with time. And I now work pretty much full time for the church. All that information is great, but it doesn't really give you any insight into me. Do you know what I mean? That's all surface stuff. And I think the most important thing in my life that I think I want to tell you about, or the thing about my life that I hope will give you the most out of it, if you like, if I can teach you anything from my life, it's God's goodness, like God's faithfulness in my life. He has been so good to me, so faithful to me, and many of you may not know, some of you might. I've preached in this once at Lighthouse. Many of you may not know, I used to be an addict, and so I really know firsthand what that means, where God has literally saved me. Multiple times God has literally saved my life, saved me from myself, and I want nothing more than my life to be a testament to God's goodness, His faithfulness, how God's mercy and grace can truly transform a person. And it's funny, isn't it? Because I do this as well. A lot of my role with Lighthouse on stage up front, and we often pass certain judgments. We assume certain things about people, and I think what I want you to get most out of watching this video is, no matter what you have done, what you are doing, if it's a current situation you're in, it is not big. It is not bigger than God's grace and love. That He really can truly transform you, and really set your life and your destiny on a different path. And so I hope that has really helped you. And I hope if you're ever thinking, oh, it's you don't know how bad it is. I've used every excuse in the book to not accept God's grace and forgiveness, and to hold on to shame and guilt and all those things. And personally have seen that transformation in my life. And so yeah, if you're watching this and you're also in the same situation, it is nowhere near anywhere big enough that God cannot handle. And so just give it to him, and he can truly transform your life.